This is big breaking news. People are having hazardous waste dumped into their yards. All right. People are waking up and having these massive blue contaminant barrels in their front yards in Nashville, Tennessee. What is happening right now? I just can't even believe these stories that keep coming out. And I reported on something very similar just 2 days ago. All right, this was 2 days ago out of Mississippi, right under Tennessee, right under Memphis, Tennessee. There was a massive acid chemical spill into a creek that runs all the way down into the Mississippi River. And this was hydrofluoric acid that could literally melt your skin and bones. And then just a day later, and look at this thumbnail. I even have the blue barrel on this thumbnail. All right, look at that thumbnail, blue barrel on it. And then a day later, this is like, it's so weird. We live in a simulation, and stuff is just, it's like reality is honestly stranger than fiction. A day later in Nashville, Tennessee, these blue barrels pop up in people's front yards. All right, this is just insane. And what is happening? How is this even possible? And imagine if this was your yard. Somebody just comes and dumps these barrels and dumps this hazardous waste into your yard, destroys your yard, destroys your waterways, and you're just left to deal with it. You're left to clean it up, and there's never any repercussions. We never hear of any justice being served for the people. Look at Ohio right now. It's been completely swept under the rug. I reported on this almost a month ago, this Ohio situation, and it just got steam 2 weeks ago. And they just visited a couple days ago, the federal government. They're so behind, and they want to just sweep all of these incidents under the rug. And just, I don't know what's happening. How did this happen, this massive hydrofluoric acid spill into the Mosquina Creek that goes all the way down, and then has an outlet, the Arca-Butler Lake right there, has an outlet into a creek. It has a dam that goes all the way down into the Mississippi River. How does this happen? And then this happens the next day with the same blue barrels that I had on this thumbnail. I'm just in shock right now. It's so weird. And it's in the same state. It's in Tennessee. It's right there in Nashville, though. All right. So just imagine you wake up, go out in your front lawn, and this is in your yard. Who's doing this? Who's doing this? Who has access to these materials, and who is dumping these materials? Who is poisoning our waterways and poisoning our food supply, right? And just a little rant here, all right? Stick with me here because this is completely factual. This is completely true. This is a study out of Berkeley EDU, all right? You can see right there the website is Berkeley. Go look this up for yourself. I know most of you have already heard of this, but atrazine. Atrazine, that's the chemical that we hear Alex Jones always freaking out about the frogs, all right? All the memes have been made about it. Atrazine, this is the chemical that poisons the whole environment, and it is the top-selling weed killer in the entire country, atrazine, and it disrupts the sexual development of frogs at concentrations 30 times lower than levels allowed by the EPA. All right, so at levels 30 times lower, it causes disruptions. All right, this is a depopulation agenda. They want to disrupt our hormones, disrupt our organs, give us cancer, give us diseases. All right, this vinyl chloride gives you sarcoma, lymphoma, brain cancer, lung cancer, all these different things. They want to, this is a depopulation agenda as well. We've seen the globalists come out. All right, Jane Goodall, I just keep thinking about this because I saw a clip of it the other day. Last year at the World Economic Forum, she was even saying we need to get the population down to the levels that it was 500 years ago. We need to get the population down to 500 million, just like the Georgia Guidestones that were blown up last year. You remember that? Super weird, super suspicious. That was there for decades, and then last year it was blown up, kind of like maybe it's like, hey, now this agenda is going into full effect, all right, so we need to get rid of these guidestones because it's kind of evidence of our plan here, all right? But it's one of these things they always tell us. Even Berkeley, they tell you, you're being poisoned, your hormones are being manipulated, you're potentially getting cancer, all these things, they're all related. But it's no big deal. Atrazine is not banned. Atrazine is still the nation's top selling weed killer. All right. So let's get into some details here of this hazard waste spill. This is just insane what was happening. It says barrels of hazardous material were dumped in a North Nashville front yard. Improper disposal of toxic liquid is illegal, and now neighbors say they want the people who did it to be held responsible. Yeah, nobody's ever held responsible. There's no accountability for these situations. The buck's always passed along, and we spend trillions of dollars on all these things, security, infrastructure, national security, but our country is just falling apart. It says in a yard that borders Interstate 40 sits 4 blue bins with remnants of hazardous material. Driving by people might not think twice about it. And it says the barrels were labeled, quote, washer solvent, which could be used as a windshield washer fluid. The liquid is flammable and poisonous to animals and humans. And these are literally pictures of the barrels in people's yards. It's just insane to wake up to a situation like that. And it's just even crazier, all right? It's a simulation that this happened the day before. So weird. And I had these barrels on this thumbnail. Just so weird. Life is stranger than fiction. It really is. It says, quote, completely unsafe materials, not even a stone's throw away from our door. And it says doorbell camera video shows a white pickup truck pull up in the area about a week ago. A person gets out and plops the barrels onto the lawn. According to state and city law, doing so is illegal. All right, and it says people just dump stuff all over this area and nothing ever really gets done. And what happens when it's a coordinated attack, when it's a coordinated event, when it's a sabotage event hitting these chemicals, hitting these toxic waste facilities, and it poisons the water supply, all right? Even the Mississippi River is potentially poisoned from this Ohio situation. The Ohio River water basin flows directly into the Mississippi River and flows all the way down the country. So even the Mississippi River is potentially contaminated from this Ohio situation. And now these people in this neighborhood, their water is potentially contaminated as well. That's why you need to have reverse osmosis. You need to have filters, carbon filters, all micron filters, all these different things for your water to get out the toxic chemicals, because people's medications end up in the water just from them going to the bathroom. All right, when people go to the bathroom, you get your medications out of your body, and that goes into the sewer system, and that gets recycled. Even that gets into the water. All these chemicals are building up in our water constantly, and there's lots of toxic ones as well too, and they're not going to be upfront with us about what is actually going on because they don't want to cause panic, and they don't want to deal with the fallout and have to pay a bunch of people money for injuries. So let me know what you guys think about this. We need to be getting prepared for a chemical or biological attack, and we've already seen a bunch of these attacks. All right, and such strange events. We had this Ohio metal plant explode, and the investigators flying on their way to Ohio, their plane crashed into another plant on the way to Ohio while leaving the Bill and Hillary Clinton airport. You just can't even make this stuff up. Things are getting very weird, very coincidental, very on top of each other. This Ohio incident with the white noise movie that was basically scripting out what happened in Ohio a couple months before on Netflix, and the people even living in the town were in the movie as extras. There's just so many very strange things that the name of Ohio, all this stuff is really building up, and I feel like we're really reaching a tipping point where we could see a major chemical, biological event that could actually cause a shift, all right, where the government uses it. They're like, you know what, yeah, these events are happening, and we need to clamp down. We need to have a national security state. We need to have surveillance everywhere. We need to have whatever agenda they want to push. We need to have a digital currency so people can't use their money to fund these operations, all this stuff. We could see this also used as an excuse to clamp down, to implement a security state, a police state as well. All right, never let a good crisis go to waste. That's what they always say. And it seems like these crises are getting more frequent. Every single day there is some crazy report. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like, hit that sub, hit that bell for me. I hope you have big blessings in your life. I am super blessed to have you guys watching me, and I hope you guys have a big old blessed day.